Before the world knew his name, before gravity had a formula, before science had laws, there was a lonely boy asking dangerous questions. This is not just the story of Isaac Newton. This is the story of quiet persistence, unseen effort, and a mind that refused to stop thinking. The gravity of genius. The story of Isaac Newton in a quiet English village. A fragile premature child was born, destined to reshape humanity's understanding of the universe. That child was Isaac Newton, born poor, fatherless, and underestimated, entering life with no signs of future greatness. His mother remarried quickly, leaving young Isaac behind, planting early loneliness that would later fuel deep introspection and curiosity. Growing up isolated, Newton learned to observe silently, finding comfort in patterns, nature, tools, and the mysteries surrounding ordinary life. He was not a prodigy at school, often overlooked, average in performance, and frequently outshined by louder, more confident classmates. Yet inside his quiet mind, questions burned fiercely, demanding answers about motion, light, numbers, stars, and the invisible forces everywhere. One humiliating fight with a classmate ignited his competitive spirit, transforming Newton from ignored student into relentless seeker of excellence. He began studying obsessively, driven not by praise, but by an internal hunger to understand truth beyond appearances. At Cambridge University, Newton entered an academic world filled with tradition, authority, and rigid thinking resistant to radical new ideas. Instead of memorizing accepted doctrines, Newton questioned everything, refusing blind belief and trusting reasoning, experimentation, and mathematics alone. Then disaster struck England as the Great Plague closed universities, forcing Newton back into isolation and uncertainty. What seemed like failure became opportunity, as solitude unlocked his most productive and revolutionary period of thinking. Alone at home, Newton explored calculus, optics, and motion, rewriting fundamental laws without laboratories, recognition, or encouragement. During this time, he noticed a falling apple, sparking questions about gravity and the invisible forces governing movement. Newton didn't discover gravity suddenly. He questioned deeply why apples fall straight downward and the moon doesn't. Through relentless thought, he connected earthly motion with celestial movement, uniting heaven and earth through universal laws. This realization changed science forever, proving the same rules govern falling objects and orbiting planets. Despite brilliance, Newton doubted himself constantly, hiding discoveries for years, fearful of criticism and intellectual conflict. His fear delayed publication, but his mind continued refining ideas, sharpening proofs, and expanding mathematical language. Eventually, pressure from peers pushed Newton to publish, unleashing ideas that would redefine physics and mathematics permanently. His book, Principia Mathematica, was dense, complex, and revolutionary, becoming one of the most influential scientific works ever written. Within its pages, Newton described laws of motion still taught centuries later in classrooms worldwide. He proved the universe was not chaotic magic, but a system governed by precise, predictable principles. Yet fame brought conflict, rivalry, and loneliness, especially his bitter dispute with fellow genius Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Newton's obsession with credit damaged relationships, revealing how brilliance doesn't automatically bring emotional peace. Despite flaws, his discipline, persistence, and courage to question authority reshaped humanity's intellectual trajectory forever. Newton also studied alchemy, theology, and philosophy, believing knowledge was interconnected, not divided by artificial academic boundaries. He spent countless nights awake, eyes strained, mind racing, driven by obsession rather than comfort or balance. Many thought him strange, difficult, and reclusive, but history remembers him as a revolutionary thinker. Newton proved greatness doesn't require loud confidence, but deep focus, patience, and willingness to endure solitude. He once said he stood on shoulders of giants, showing humility despite towering achievements. In reality, Newton became a giant himself, lifting future scientists toward discoveries unimaginable before his work. His ideas enabled engineering, astronomy, space travel, and technological progress shaping modern civilization. Newton's life teaches that slow beginnings don't determine final destinations. Being ignored, underestimated, or isolated does not mean you lack potential. Often, isolation becomes the laboratory where greatness is quietly constructed. Newton's apple was not luck, but preparation meeting curiosity. He asked questions others ignored, then pursued answers longer than anyone else dared. Failure, loneliness, and doubt did not stop him. They sharpened his resolve. His journey reminds us that patience compounds into genius over time. Newton did not chase motivation. He built discipline through consistent inquiry. He worked without applause, trusting truth would eventually speak louder than critics. Real success often grows unseen, like gravity itself, silently shaping everything around it. Newton's story proves thinking deeply is a revolutionary act. He turned questions into equations, curiosity into laws, and isolation into legacy. You don't need perfect conditions to begin meaningful work. You need courage to think independently and patience to endure confusion. Newton embraced confusion, knowing clarity waits on the other side of struggle. Every breakthrough he made was built upon countless silent failures. Progress isn't dramatic leaps, it's steady persistence through uncertainty. Newton trusted process over praise, effort over ego. He teaches us to respect time, because understanding unfolds gradually. The universe didn't reveal itself quickly. Newton earned its secrets patiently. If he had quit during isolation, science would look vastly different today. Your current struggle may be shaping something future generations will depend on. Newton's mind changed the world, yet his beginnings were painfully ordinary. Ordinary origins can produce extraordinary impact. What matters is commitment to learning, questioning, and improving daily. Newton didn't wait for confidence. He worked despite insecurity. Greatness often follows those who persist quietly. Newton shows us that depth beats speed. He chose understanding over popularity, truth over comfort. His life whispers a powerful message to dreamers everywhere. Stay curious even when misunderstood. Work when no one is watching. Ask questions that make others uncomfortable. Accept solitude if it strengthens your focus. Trust that effort compounds invisibly. Newton didn't control destiny. He controlled discipline. That discipline bent history. You don't need miracles. You need momentum. Small insights accumulate into monumental discoveries. Newton's apple reminds us that inspiration favors prepared minds. Preparation begins with consistent learning. Learning begins with humility. Humility keeps curiosity alive. Curiosity fuels progress. Progress shapes destiny. Newton's destiny reshaped humanity. Yours can too. You are allowed to start slow. You are allowed to be misunderstood. You are allowed to grow quietly. Like gravity, your impact may be invisible until undeniable. Trust the unseen work you're doing today. One day, it will pull your dreams into reality. Newton didn't chase greatness. Greatness followed his dedication. Let dedication be your constant companion. History rewards those who persist thoughtfully. Think deeply, work patiently, live purposefully. The universe still obeys Newton's laws centuries later. Legacy outlives noise. True impact is timeless. Newton's life proves the quiet mind can move worlds. So can yours. Begin today. Question boldly. Persist relentlessly. Think independently. And let your gravity change the world.